spend like 5 minutes just kind of like waiting for people to join. Inshallah.
I have the screen on the
Junaid
on
is
my.
here already. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My number one fan. My good friend, bro. Oh, Mubarak. Okay, to the one viewer. About Farhan's new post, one thing I want to add is, what did Farhan post? Fard Kifaya? Yeah, I'm not sure what his post was. I don't really follow them much. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. But guys, here we've got a very special guest today. He's a very great content creator. Allah Mubarak. He makes some really nice TikTok and Instagram videos. You guys might know him. You might have seen him around, like doing top 10 rankings and that kind of stuff. So, Helal, do you want to like introduce yourself?
Well, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everybody in the chat, everybody watching. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah. So, my name is Helal Al-Sawari. So, I'm a second year student at the University of Sheffield studying economics. I've also, as Jan has pointed out, started a TikTok and an Instagram. And actually, for the cause of Palestine, actually, I started around the time of October 2023, around that time. Also around that time, I also started writing articles for S2J News. S2J standing for Smile to Jannah. You may have heard of Smile to Jannah. And so I was writing articles for him and for his news sort of agency for about 2 years. And I've left since and, started my own thing here on Instagram, TikTok. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Bro, when I first heard about that, I was like, that's crazy, bro, because I, like, of the, like, really big Dawa YouTubers, Ali Dawa, Muhammad Hijab, etc., I think Smile Jannah is one of my favorite. Like, he's just a fun guy, you know? So how did that even happen, bro? How did you get that? And you started at, like, what, 17, 18?
Yeah, around that age. He put an ad out, on YouTube. And said if
Sorry,
anybody wants.
you're cutting off, bro. Could you repeat? He put an ad out.
Put an ad out, like it was like a post, so not a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
And I really saw the ad. It said it's a volunteer role, like, so it's not paid, nothing like that. It's a volunteer role. And remember, this is during the time where we clearly see the media misrepresenting what was going on in Israel, Palestine. I was like, I want to do something about that, even if it's changing, one or two people's perspectives. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind volunteering for that. So I applied, and like 2 or 3 months later, he reached out and I had the interview with him, and he just gave me the role like that.
Allah Mubarak, bro. Like, what were you doing? Like, how often were you doing things? Like, was he making videos based on the articles, or is it like a kind of separate thing?
Some of his video reference articles, like that I wrote, that other people wrote. For example, if he would speak about a certain topic, he'd put, my article or somebody else's article. There were like 5 or 6 volunteers, working for him. We had like one article to do. If you wanted to do more a week, then we could do more. And that's pretty much how it worked. Like that.
So, like, if you're comfortable saying in public, like, what kind of caused you to leave?
Actually, it's not really a big sort of thing. It was just I was going. Sorry?
Is it just like time and you can't make it? Yeah.
Going in second year of uni, things like upped, a lot.
Yeah.
I got my results from exam, alhamdulillah, passed everything.
Allah Mubarak.
Yeah, I just saw the step up, and I was participating in like university sort of societies and things like that. I had a lot of things to do, so it was just a time sort of issue there, to be honest.
Yeah, bro. I mean, so you've not got time to do articles, but you've got time to hang out with Jan Ryczkowski.
I would
Huh?
not really hand, but we're doing things for the ummah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
This is what.
alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So yeah, guys, we've got 20 views, alhamdulillah. Maybe some from your channel. But so yeah, that's so what we're kind of doing in this live stream basically is we want to talk about beneficial stuff, of course. So Helal has told me that he's got an interest in Islamic finance, economics, and politics. And there's a lot of crazy stuff we can say about politics, so please don't get me
Oh,
banned. If you want to replace the word juice with soda, and
I think
hmm?
the code would. You know, I was speaking with one of my friends about this. You know, we were speaking on a train, and it's quite packed, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, all of a sudden the topic shifted to these sorts of things.
Yeah.
He came up with the idea to call them our cousins, right? So I think we should use that. Say
Okay,
our cousins.
let's call them our cousins. Okay, and if we talk about yeah, well, they'll be our cousins for today. So for you guys, the nose people are our cousins. Okay, so what's like the first kind of thing you wanted to mention? Like you said, you studied economics in uni.
Yeah, I'm studying. A
Studying.
second. Yeah, and I'm studying economics and finance and things like that. You run into certain ideologies that the university teaches, capitalism, socialism, communism, and these things, and you start thinking, you know, what does Islam say about this? You
Oh
know, what
yeah.
does economics,
Is it
finance,
always just like pro democracy? Like yeah, guys, let's be capitalists, and
of course,
let's do riba and give all our money to our cousins. And
but you're the cousin auntie. That's the
hmm?
first one.
Cousin counter. Yeah, we'll do a cousin counter, guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll
I
kind of
say,
yeah. Go ahead.
and usury and riba is so deeply ingrained in, you know, the whole world's economy, because the West basically has been running the world since the end of the Cold War, right? At the time of before the Cold War ended, we had like, okay, we had the United States, and we had the Soviet Union, sort of balancing each other out. After that, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, we had like a unipolar sort of world. In the West is basically running everything.
But we've got China, we've got Russia, we've got Saudi Arabia, alhamdulillah, we've got Gulf countries catching up.
Yeah,
And they've got the Vision 2020, 2030, etc. Like
yeah. These sort of things are sort of coming about more recently, you know. And the best example of that I would give is, let's just think about the recent sort of World War III sort of talk.
yeah, the yeah.
Yeah, notice how they cannot just invade the country just like that, like they did in 2003. Create this random weapons of mass destruction. Let's go into Iraq and let's do this and that. They can't do that anymore. Why? Because Russia is growing, China is growing. They don't allow this stuff anymore to just go into Iran and do whatever they want. You know, so this is sort of thing. Russia's growing in power and China's growing in power. But back then, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, it was just the United States. They have complete control of the world's economy and everything. Obviously, the dollar is the reserve currency as well. Like, it's very clear. And as I was saying before, riba, you can see in the books, every single graph that we learn, it's ingrained in every single thing, every single part of the economy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was actually like, I mean, thinking recently about like what rich people kind of do, because I'm trying to become rich, inshallah. And I was looking like, okay, so what they do is, for example, they might want a property for 10 million, right? And that property would generate them, I don't know, 1 million a year. But what they do is they put 2 million in, and then they borrow 8 million, and then pay off that 8 million with the money they earn. But the thing is, we can't do that because it's riba, bro. So I need to find some millionaire who doesn't mind giving me an interest-free loan, but that's just not gonna happen, you know.
You know how
Tell me, put me on, please.
you go to the bank, you say, I'm from the cousins, and they'll give you a little sheet of paper, and they'll say, this is how you can get interest free. loan. I'm not making this up. Like literally in the United States of America, you can say there's this word in Hebrew. I can try and find it now. This is a word in Hebrew you can say. It's sort of like a, you know how in the Jewish faith they have like halal and haram.
The cousin faith.
Sorry, the cousins. The cousins faith, they have things that are prohibited, things that are allowed.
Kosher and
I don't know.
I did RE ages ago. Bro, I remember about RE, just a side point, right? They talk about circumcision. So I know about the Moel. I know about, I forgot, bro. There are all sorts of Hebrew words like, you know. And the thing is, they taught it in so much detail, right?
Yeah.
Everything, every word, significance of it. You know, that is because of Ibrahim, right? It's covenant, etc. And they taught everything. Can you guess the thing they left out?
What, usury?
No, within circumcision, there's no usury. Maybe there is. It's the you know about the tradition when the cousins get circumcised.
The papers, they put up the sheets and whatever, that sort of things.
No, I don't think you know about this. Okay, so what they do is, this is Orthodox Jewish cousin practice. They suck the baby's they suck the blood.
Okay, this is crazy.
I'm serious, bro. There's a Wikipedia page and everything. But anyways, I don't want to get banned, so let's move on to. You mentioned about how the US and everything. It's basically most of the world is based on the dollar, right? And
yes, the reserve currency of the world. So, say you want to trade with another country, you have to exchange your currency into the dollar, and then you can do this and that. It gives the US this sort of power that they can sanction people. Why can the US sanction people? You know, they can just cut off Russia from the SWIFT system. They have this sort of power that no other country has. You know, and even before we had the gold standard in like 1971, they took out the gold standard. So before, the dollar was backed by something. It was backed by gold. In 1971, I think it was Nixon, I think it was Nixon.
He's evil, isn't he?
Huh?
You had Watergate, and then like the war on drugs.
You know what? We'll speak more about JFK and Nixon, because these guys.
I'd love to. But
yeah.
So about the gold standard, I saw obviously Gaddafi is iffy because he's said some really un-Islamic things. That he's been takfired, but yeah, Gaddafi, you know him.
Yeah.
So
Libya.
yeah. So he tried to establish the gold standard. I heard. Do you know more about this, like on the general story there?
So what Gaddafi tried to do, as far as I'm concerned, is like he tried to establish an African currency, backed by gold. Okay, and if you have African currency that's backed by gold, this will rival the dollar. And obviously,
because Africa's where gold comes from mostly, Zimbabwe, etc.
They didn't like that, so they made up some like flimsy excuse to invade the country and just murder a bunch of people. You know, the usual story, typical.
Typical of our cousins and the McDonald's people as well.
Yeah, so basically, once they remove the gold standard, now you have the dollar that's backed by nothing. It's backed by nothing. It's not backed by gold, it's backed by confidence, is what they say. So technically, they can print as much money as they want.
And that's what they do.
That's what they do.
Probably like put it in their pockets and feel really nice and warm for the cousins that don't have as much money.
Yeah. They can print as they want, and when they print money, let's say the supply of money is increased, right? Because they print more money, right?
Yeah.
The value of the dollar.
Could you repeat?
What happens to the value of the dollar once they increase its supply? It decreases, right?
Yeah.
So your purchasing power. So now previously I could buy this cup for $1, but now there's a lot more dollars. so I can buy less of this. Okay, so my purchasing power is decreased. This is inflation, basically. Guys, they can create inflation, they can print money, all of these things. And where do you think the money is going? It's not going to me or you. It's going to the people,
rich guys.
rich guys, because
Yeah.
like before, the rich guys, they own assets, or they own houses, they own properties. They're the ones that benefit from inflation, from asset prices increasing. They're the guys who benefit, you know?
Now, I want to know about BlackRock. I'm sure you have a lot to say.
BlackRock. So, BlackRock, first of all, the CEO, Larry Fink, he's American, but if you search up his ethnicity...
Okay. Doesn't even need to be said, bro.
Yeah. So, BlackRock, Vanguard, I think...
Vanguard is... when I think Vanguard, it sounds like a game company. What is it?
Yeah, but it is also a company. So basically, these companies, they buy like shares, they buy equities in other, and they have like shares. The three of those companies, they have shares in about like 70 to 80% of all U.S. equities. You know, just think about the amount of power that a small a bunch of individuals have. You know, and
It's
of
the
course
elites,
they can.
it's the elites.
Yeah, the elites. They can influence things, influence policy, like influence DEI things that the company has to do. You know, the diversity, equality, and inclusion stuff. They can influence all of these things. Yeah, that's pretty what BlackRock is about.
Okay. Yeah, bro. I gotta say, your connection, bro. It's you're like cutting in and out. You know what I mean? It's like there's I don't know if there's much you can do. He sounds I don't understand, but Allah Mubarak, he sounds educated. I mean, yeah, you are quite educated. Got 6 viewers. I think YouTube's not really pushing it out. I wonder why.
You know why? You know what?
Yeah. Okay, so what were you saying?
Wait, what's worse? What's worse than BlackRock is probably Rothschild. You know, the Rothschild family. I'm sure you've heard of them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, bro. They pay you. They pay YouTube to make my videos flop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe. I'm just joking.
Yeah, so this is particularly like linked to also the Israel-Palestine situation.
Someone asked in chat actually about Iran, Israel. So, is this gonna?
Maybe towards the end, but this is to do with basically the foundation of the Israeli state. You know, during I believe it was like World War One, the British Empire was basically like they were almost bankrupt, so they needed
British Empire.
Yeah, they needed loans. The UK, they needed loans. They needed financiers. The Rothschild family financed them, gave them loans and things like that, in return for a Zionist Israeli sort of state, and it's called the Balfour Declaration. I'm sure you've heard of it. They basically promised the British promised them a Zionist Israeli state.
Promised 6 million years ago.
Like a land that wasn't for them to promise to anyone else, because they'd taken over Palestinian land and then they promised it to somebody else. This is not how it works. So that's one thing that the Rothschilds have done. They've throughout centuries like financed both sides of the wars, financing Napoleon, financing the British Empire at the same time. They do, cousin things,
Are they cousins?
Yes, yes.
Of course. The founder. What's his? I can't remember his name. But I read a bit into the story. I watched a video by a guy called Useful Charts. But the thing is, he's a cousin, so I don't know. If it's valid, but I saw like that the Rothschilds, they started in like Germany, and then they expanded to like a bunch of different countries like UK, France, and then some of the banks like stopped operating. But like the origin of it, I'm sure you know, is because Christians can't charge interest. You know, so
Yeah.
all the rich people, they just hired a Jew to do it for them. You know.
Christians and Muslims, we can't engage in usury, but as you know,
There was an update
um,
actually. Christians are allowed to now.
oh yeah, now they are because they don't follow their religion.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. It's just like, it's just every update is just removing a rule. Like you notice, like the Vatican Council, and then like everything the Pope says, it's just like, this is okay now. This is okay now. This is okay now. It's interesting.
You start to want
Sorry,
Judeo.
could you repeat all that again? You cut off.
I need to fix my mic. Can you hear me?
Mm.
Start to wonder like where Judeo-Christian values, like where this term comes from, because if you look at it, our cousins. I was just about to say it so loud. Our cousins. Our cousins. What do they believe about Isa alayhi salam?
That he's
Right, if you look,
he's boiling in yeah.
and for example, the Christians, they believe Isa alayhi salam is God or the Son of God, and our cousins, they believe, he's in hell and he's like like these sort of things.
Yeah.
Oh, there are certain rules in the Talmud. For example, I can, as if I were a cousin, I could charge another cousin. I'm not allowed to charge another cousin interest. Sorry, I'm not allowed to charge another cousin interest, but I can charge interest on everybody else. That's not a cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that rule is sort of similar to any other thing. Like for example, if you're a shopkeeper and you're a cousin, right? You're a shopkeeper. Somebody comes and gives you higher than the amount of the product, right? If they're a cousin, you have to give them back the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
If cousin, you don't have to tell them that they gave you a higher amount. They can just leave. Okay, there's rules like this where someone's saying in the chat, how many cousins do you have?
Okay, so could someone explain to him what cousins is? In chat though, so it's not like linked to me.
Also, the reason I'm saying cousin is you have, Ismail and Ishaq. Obviously,
Yeah. So technically they are like our cousins, right?
Yeah, like Ismail, like that's where the Arabs came from. Ishaq is where the Jews came from.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Could you
Cousins.
repeat again, please?
Repeat again.
No, never mind. No, that's fine. Yeah, I think it's your connection. Because I don't think it's your microphone. Because microphones don't do that kind of stuff. So, but no, you should be fine. Like if you get a PC eventually or a laptop and then connect it to an Ethernet cable, and get camera, but that's down the road. Like you're fine at least.
Yeah.
But yeah. So did we speak about what Gaddafi was trying to do?
Yeah, we spoke.
Yeah.
Even if we accept out like what was Saddam trying to do, what was Gaddafi trying to do. Let's be real. Like they all pose a threat to the Israeli state. Just Iran is doing. Somebody asked in the chat about Israel and Iran.
Yeah. So let's talk about Saddam first. What's the deal with him?
Okay, so first of all, Saddam was actually backed by America. Firstly, during the Iraq-Iran wars, US was given Iraq money. US was giving Saddam money.
And it was giving money to is he from Afghanistan? He was born in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, him.
Is he from Afghanistan?
No, he's not.
He's from Saudi. He's Saudi. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they were supporting him for a bit. What's this stream about? It's just Islamic finance, economics, and politics with Helal. It's just like a different way of saying anti. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, the thing with he posed right to
Sorry,
Israel.
could you repeat from the thing with?
Yeah, the thing with Saddam, he posed a threat to Israel. At one point in time, Iraq had, I believe, the fourth largest army in the world, standing army in the world. You know, obviously the economy was one of the fastest growing in the Middle East. It was doing well as a country, even though it was supposedly run by a dictatorship and all these things. But yeah, so what they said about Saddam is that he had weapons of mass destruction. And, you know, this is similar to what they said about Iran. You know, we saw Benjamin Netanyahu like going to the US Senate and whatever saying, you know, Iran is like 3 days away from making a nuclear like bomb, and he's been doing it for like 20 years. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
the same script what they did with Iraq. Oh, they have weapons of mass destruction. Let's go and bomb them. Let's go and do this and that. In the process, they murdered 1 million Iraqi civilians. Like, think about that.
SubhanAllah.
Oh,
That's like
based on,
4 times more than 271,000. Anyway, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
very crazy.
But you know, the thing is, like, people say, "Oh, dictatorships are not good," but I've never once seen a reason why. Like, why? You know, why not? You know,
You
it's
know,
just like America says this and that about them, and then the death penalty for people who do bad things. Who cares, bro? And then like you know,
to be honest,
yeah,
yeah, America doesn't care, bro. America doesn't care about women's rights. They don't care about dictatorship. They don't care about democracy. These things are just a ploy. Like they're not real things that they care about, because they would support a dictator in one part of the world and then say this in another part of the world, this guy's a dictator, we need to take him out. So they don't really care about these things. You know what I mean?
And it's
Also, just like a sort of thing as to why they wouldn't like dictators. This is just an idea. So obviously, when you have democracy, everybody has the right to vote. Correct? Everybody has the right to vote above a certain age, and the majority of people, they're not really going to be completely educated on economics, on politics, and all of these things. The majority of people, there's going to be a good portion of people that will be, but the majority will be laymen, right?
yeah, they've got no idea. They just like say, "Oh, this guy sounds nice. Oh, she sounds, she validates my feelings."
Yeah,
You know.
and you know, there's actually JFK, when he was elected, you know what I mean, as president back in the 60s, it was said that a lot of women just voted for him because he looked handsome. You know what I mean? So, like, a lot of these things, and who is the one making these people seem nice or making these people seem good or whatever? It's the media. You know, so technically, the media owns the vote of the majority of people. You know, is in a specific country. So if you look at who owns the news agencies and the media and things like that, what happens? It starts to sound more like a dictatorship again, just only a dictatorship of an elite group of people, basically, who own these news agencies and things like that.
Someone commented thoughts on the and he appears to be an emoji of a yellow star.
Okay.
That's basically what the whole stream is about, essentially. So you can pick up bits and bobs from basically what we're saying. But the thing is, right? As far as I'm aware, Saudi Arabia is not a democracy, right?
No,
it's a kingdom.
Yeah, monarchy, a kingdom.
It's a monarchy, right? And then, okay, so Saudi Arabia is a monarchy. They have one leader. And then, like, Iran, Iraq, whatever, they have one leader. But obviously they call this one a dictatorship, and they call this one, oh, it's fine, you know, they give us oil. That's it's so weird and hypocritical, you know, it just shows you that, you know, it's just backwards, bro.
And, you know, things, we were speaking about Afghanistan, you know how they say, okay, rights and things like that in Afghanistan. Okay, you can make a case, right? There are certain rights that the current government in Afghanistan is not, certain Islamic rights that, you know, they're not giving to women. okay. That's what we're saying. That's incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
For you to then, say that we need to promote feminism, we need to promote this and that, and there's actually a CIA report. It's on WikiLeaks, right? You know WikiLeaks, right?
Yeah, what's the guy's name?
Julian Assange.
That's WikiLeaks guy? No, that was... yeah, that could be him. Yeah, he's like wanted, isn't he?
Yeah, think about it. Simply, he made a website, started telling the truth, they locked him up. Is that freedom of speech?
Is he locked up?
I think he was released, but he was locked up for a very long time. You know what I mean?
About like people being released, bro. You know about Silk Road, right?
The what?
Silk Road.
Silk Road.
The Silk Road. You know, like there was a massive website where it's like Amazon for drugs, right?
Okay.
And the guy who owned it, he made so much money. I think millions or maybe billions, right? Because obviously it's a high profit margin kind of business, right? And he got locked up, right, for it after a couple of years. And Donald Trump, for some reason, he said, "Hey guys, I'm gonna I'm gonna release this guy if I win the presidency." And I think he did. And I think he may have gotten released. I'm like, why?
Donald Trump, he should probably lock a lot of his friends up because a lot of his friends are on the Epstein list. And now the US government, they're basically saying there is no Epstein list. There's the Attorney General of the United States, so the Department of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
A month ago, the Pam Bondi, who's the Attorney General, she said, "I have the list on my desk, waiting for review." Right? Last week, or like this previous week, they said the list doesn't exist. They're trying to gaslight us. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, but honestly, I think this whole thing with Epstein, like, in the grand scheme of things, when you really look at it, like, who cares? Like, bear with me here. It's not a massive thing. It's not like, I mean, obviously, it's obviously extremely immoral. It's bad. I have to reiterate that, right? But then when you compare it to like maybe millions of people dying, they're making it big, So I think there's something going on behind the scenes that they're using it as a distraction.
I'll tell you why it's big.
Okay.
First of all, they don't want to make it big. That's why they're saying there's no list. Donald Trump said something similar to what you said. He said, who cares? Like, we have this and that. Who cares about Epstein list? Are we still talking about this guy? That's what he said. That's a little bit suspicious, by the way. Wow. Anyway,
but so other, like, I didn't look into it, and I didn't look into how they're portraying it. Like, maybe they are hiding it, and I don't understand it. But are there like media outlets talking about it?
So basically, what's going on is Epstein, the conspiracy or the theory that a lot of people have is that Epstein, the man himself, he was an agent, a Mossad agent, okay? And he has like extremely strong ties. Mossad, by the way, is the Israeli intelligence, for anyone who doesn't know. So he has very strong links with Mossad. For example, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the woman who I believe she basically supplied clients and this and that to a lot of these basically underage people, women and men. You can't call them women, they're children, okay? So she's in jail right now for supplying these underage and in some cases boys and girls or whatever to people. She's in jail right now for that. So how can you say
drop shipping children?
Sorry?
She drop shipping children.
Trafficking. No,
trafficking, that's the word.
Trafficking. Yes. She's in jail for that. So you can't say there's no client list if you've just sentenced someone for, being the mastermind behind that.
Exactly. Maybe she's like a scapegoat, like, hey, we need to put someone in prison,
there's so many things like completely messed up about this whole situation. For example, the fact that Jeffrey Epstein commits suicide, right? The fact that there's just 1 minute missing from the videotapes. Like,
I'm curious actually about so with Epstein's suicide, why do
Yeah.
people like I don't know much about this situation, right? Why do people deny it? And like, so for me, like, I mean, if you get exposed for doing such a massive thing, isn't that just
Mhm.
something that you do? Like, not me personally, not us as Muslims, but isn't that something that would be expected?
You know, if you look at the character of this man, first of all, he was extremely powerful. Like, you can find pictures of him with Donald Trump, with like, you know, politicians and, you know, rich people, billionaires, whatever. He's an extremely powerful guy. You know, also Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, we'll get onto him like maybe later if we can. He's basically the origin of this. You know, I'll speak about him later. But Jeffrey Epstein, this guy's a powerful individual, and they get some information out of him that is completely to the detriment of Israel, of Mossad, of basically everything. Because if it comes out,
Out of who? Out of who? Sorry.
so if they get information of Jeffrey Epstein, who he was working for, and so on, then that's completely to the detriment of Israel.
Who was speaking? Sorry, who was speaking badly against Israel?
Sorry?
Who was speaking badly against Israel?
So if Epstein...
Oh, so he wasn't. Oh.
Yeah, so basically there's overwhelming evidence that he's a Mossad agent. And he was working blackmail sort of scheme. So what the conspiracy or the theory is, by the way, which is backed by a lot of evidence, just people need to look for it, you know? So the theory is that Epstein, he's basically a Mossad agent, and he's getting all of these politicians and all of these billionaires, all of these influential people on his island, on his residency, by the way, which have cameras everywhere. Cameras in the bedrooms, cameras in the toilets. He gets these people to commit.
How do you know about the cameras, though? How is there evidence for the cameras? Like, how do we know about that?
The guys, you know, the island is completely empty now. Basically, we can look into what's going on there. He had a residency in Manhattan. I believe it was the largest residency in Manhattan, and it was gifted to him by somebody. You know, you can guess who.
Is it the big property guy who was very rich in New York?
His name right now. I believe it was Leslie Wexner or something like that. Leslie Wexner.
Did I just get a message?
Yeah, so
Leslie Wexner. I've not heard of him.
Yeah, this guy obviously he's a massive bit, and he helped Jeffrey Epstein. He basically gifted him the largest residency in Manhattan. I mean, who does that? You know, and for what purpose? So the theory, he gets these billionaires and politicians to do certain acts with these children or with these prostitutes or whatever. He records them and he blackmails them. That's basically the theory. Okay, obviously that is a massive thing. That is very significant. So that's the reason why people are like, you know, speaking so much about it.
Well, I mean, to me, like, just to play devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be like, you know, let's say if I was super powerful and I had a friend and Jeffrey Epstein, he said, hey, Jan's friend, come to my island. We'll do some cool stuff. And he's like, cool. Then he does it, and then Epstein says to him, I've got this video now. Do this, that. Isn't he just gonna come to me and say, don't go to that island? Don't go to that island, right?
Who's gonna come to you and say, don't go to
my friend who's been blackmailed.
Okay, so first of all, a lot of these guys, your friend who's being blackmailed, so he's telling other people to not go to the island.
Yeah, like say he's being blackmailed and he's like, Jan, if you get an offer from him, just don't go, you know. But he doesn't tell me he's been blackmailed. Couldn't that just happen? Like, so I'm sure people within the same like group of, you know.
I'm sure.
Huh?
I'm sure it has. If you think about it, even with the Diddy stuff, right? Everybody knew what was going on. Everybody knew what was going on in the industry. They just wouldn't say anything. You know, either they were part of what was going on, or they were at the parties. Now they don't want to say that I was part of the parties because that could ruin their reputation. These sort of things, you know. And it's the same thing. And even some people are extending it to Diddy and saying Diddy was given the same sort of role to blackmail these rappers and musicians and things
You know
like
what?
that.
Maybe there's a Epstein for every generation. You know, who's next to step up, guys?
Yeah, but as I was saying, Robert Maxwell, the father of Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell's like a sort of lover to Jeffrey Epstein, but at the same time, she's supplying.
How old was she?
How old is she? She's old. She's like, I don't know,
Nah, no
30
way,
or
bro.
what.
No way.
She's not really a lover to. This is just like they were very close to each other. Let's say, yeah. So her father, Robert Maxwell, was a Mossad agent. Very like clear on the record. You can go on Wikipedia. Yeah, the guy's a Mossad agent.
Not a very good agent if you're well known and people know you're an agent, right?
Yeah, true. Search up people now. You know what I mean? Like people get exposed and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a big story of how the guy, he was supposedly working for MI6, right? What's it called? MI6, right?
MI6, the UK.
The UK one, yeah.
Yeah.
So Maxwell. So he was sent to do some things in Germany and Russia. MI6 was a bit wary that this guy might have actually been working for KGB, the Russian intelligence service. So then they cut him off because they believe he's part of KGB. And the KGB sort of spies and officers, they were so sort of high up, but even they didn't know that Robert Maxwell was working for them. So this is how high up he was, you know.
What? So he was actually working for the KGB.
It gets interesting. So so first we thought he was working for MI6, then he's working for KGB. Then it turns out that he's not actually working for KGB. He's working for Israel. He's a Mossad agent. That's why he's going around, infiltrating this and infiltrating that. And yeah, that's Robert Maxwell for you. And by the way, there was an Israeli sort of spy intelligence officer, whatever, that left Mossad, and he wrote a book. Let me see if I can. It's called By Way of Deception. Right? And he said that by way of deception is the motto for Mossad. Right? By way of deception, start wars, do this, do that. Okay? This guy said that Robert Maxwell was blackmailed by Mossad.
Robert Maxwell,
Yes.
The guy who made the book?
No. The guy who made the book is called Victor Ostrovsky.
Oh,
okay?
Victor said that Robert Maxwell was
Yeah.
Okay.
So Robert Maxwell was fond of prostitutes and things like that. Okay, and basically they caught tapes of him doing things like that, and they basically got insurance for if Robert Maxwell ever had to leave or ever had to do this. We have this against you. So what I'm making here is that blackmail is not something only exclusive to Jeffrey Epstein. Like they do this. These guys do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've done it.
I heard a story of a celebrity being invited to Israel. Not sure who. I can't remember who, but apparently they tried to get him in like a room with a young lady in a party, and then apparently they were like insisting that he does things with her, and she was like apparently really young. So they were gonna like record it and blackmail him, but he refused, and then he spoke out against it. Have you heard about this?
No, I'm not.
No, well, I don't know the details very much, but what do you think they caught Nas Daily doing?
Nas Daily?
Yeah.
I think he's just a weirdo. I don't think they caught him.
So no way he's just by choice. Like how can you support Israel by choice? It's just completely.
I think he fell for the money, to be honest.
The money? Oh yeah.
Probably.
Could be the money. Yeah.
Nasty.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. And nah, bro, I've been a Nas Daily hater since day one, bro. I remember when I made my video about Andrew Tate, I saw Nas Daily saying, "Oh, this guy's a fake Muslim," but Nas Daily doesn't even pray, and he he left Islam when he said he has his own religion. So how can he
Mm.
speak on that? You know.
What do you think about?
Hmm?
What do you think about Andrew Tate?
You know, it's he's funny sometimes. It's like sometimes he says things and it's like yeah, but then other times he says things and it's like no. You know, as a whole, obviously I don't support him in general because obviously he's basically not even trying to be halal. I think he's been takfired as well because he's done some things of kufr. He could be trying much harder, you know.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. To be honest,
You
I,
agree?
yeah, I agree. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
And there's
yeah,
the whole thing of him like the Romania thing, like the what's it trafficking. Like, do you know about this stuff? Like, what do you think of that?
I don't think that's real. To be honest,
Think it's
that's
fake?
one credit. Yeah, that's one thing I'll one thing I'll give him. I don't think that's real. And the reason I say that is because all of the things that he was saying. By the way, he's anti-Israel as well, pro-Palestine. He's anti the LGBT, the woke sort of narrative, and this and that. These guys who try and shut people down, shut people up, they have all the incentive in the world to shut him up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think of it, this guy was the number one searched person in the world at one point in time,
Mm-hmm.
and he converted to Islam. He converted
Subhanallah.
to Islam. He was completely against what was the narrative, what was the things that we're being fed in the media and this and that. So they have a massive incentive to put him in jail and things like that. But of course, you're right. He had, mistakes and things like that. Even after converting to Islam, it doesn't seem like he's improving. Maybe I don't know. Allah knows his intentions. I won't get into what his intentions were, but yeah, that's pretty much
To
it.
me, about man, I was gonna say something, but it completely fell out my head. Oh, man. Oh yeah. So you know Matrix attacks, right?
Yeah.
People being attacked by the Matrix because they're spreading the truth or something. So
Mhm.
I've always been kind of like, are you sure? Like, what's the point? You know, like, it feels to me like it's these people on the internet are not that consequential. Especially, maybe I could give it to Andrew Tate. But the thing is, he's like not relevant anymore, really. But then I see like other smaller YouTubers who no one really knows, and then they say, "Look, I've been attacked by the Matrix." I'm like, "Are you sure?" You know what I mean? But
So first of all, we can replace the word matrix with cousins because that's, that's who.
yeah.
So that's, second of all, social media and like YouTube, all of these things, this is now becoming the new, news outlets. People are getting the news of
Yeah.
podcasts. Joe Rogan,
Mm.
a guy called Patrick Bet David and Tucker Carlson and these guys.
Yeah.
That's what the news from. That's what journalism is now. A lot of people they don't trust these BBC News and Sky News, and they shouldn't, by the way, because they all lie. And there's actually something interesting that Andrew Tate said. He's right on that one thing. I'll give it to him. He's like, why would these news companies try and inform you? Like, who are you? Like, they're trying to
Oh yeah, I
push
saw that
propaganda.
clip.
They're trying to push propaganda. That's the point of these news agencies.
Mm.
They don't really care informing you or me or what. They don't really care about that. If
Mm.
they had it their own way, they wouldn't. They wouldn't inform us. The government would keep everything in the dark. The only reason you have these, news outlets is because we want to push a certain narrative. And when you think about it like that, then it starts to make sense why they would shut certain people down, put certain people in jail. We were talking about Julian Assange before. He had a case against him as well. Like, I think it was sexual assault or something like that. All these people just get cases against them randomly. That it's a bit too much for it to not be not a coincidence. It's on
Mm.
purpose, I believe.
And then like the actual like really rich people that actually do really bad things, since they're rich, I mean they could just fly from one place to another and then they're good, right?
Exactly. They're all on the Epstein files, and they won't release the files. That's what I think.
Exactly.
all on the list.
You know, maybe within our lifetime, like since all the like when was Epstein? Like, when did all that end?
I mean, I think he died. I don't know, like a couple of years ago. I think actually. It
Well,
was
like
like
2010,
no, it was in like the 2020s, I believe. That he.
2020.
Well, let me just.
No, it was like 2015 at the latest for me. But I don't know.
Was 2019. Yeah, death
2019.
of
Yeah,
August 10th.
so I think within our lifetime, since all the people within the Epstein thing are like really old, I think within our lifetime it could be published, you know, like, because what it is with them, they declassify things later, you know. Um, that brings me actually to JFK. Some things were declassified recently. Is there anything of substance, like anything notable? Like in general, what do you think of that whole like
You know
fiasco?
what the American people or just the general public,
Hmm.
what we want to understand is who actually killed JFK? Who actually killed him? We didn't get any sort of indication towards who that was. Of course, again, the main theory is JFK didn't like Mossad. He wasn't fond of the CIA. He said famously he wanted to shatter the CIA into 1,000 pieces. He, I believe, he wanted to list APAC as a foreign sort of thing. It's not foreign like as a foreign lobby.
Hmm.
You know, still APAC, right? It gives money to the US politicians and the UK politicians. A lot of people don't know this, but they give money to UK politicians as well, APAC, and they're not listed as a foreign entity somehow. So JFK wanted to list them as a foreign entity. JFK was suspicious of the secret nuclear program. All of these things, it points towards the fact that he was probably and possibly assassinated by CIA or Mossad sort of scheme. So
Someone just said in chat, guys, Yan and Helal are not suicidal. Okay.
I'm not suicidal, guys. Okay,
Wallahi, I would never kill myself.
haram.
Yeah,
So
and I'm very careful around cars. I'm very careful around biological weapons. I'm very
yeah,
careful around anvils and thunderbolts. And I'm sure the same goes for Helal.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, continue, bro.
What was I speaking about?
But
JFK.
yeah. JFK. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
like all sorts of crazy stuff about the whole JFK situation. Like he was trying to I don't even know. I lost my train of thought. Maybe they've already poisoned me.
I mean, you can say that he was really Israel, but you could say he's probably the most anti-Israel you can get,
He was
being a U.
probably the most moral president, right?
Yeah,
Like
and he got
it
killed.
seems to me, and it always seems like it's the most moral president. Like I've heard great things about Abraham Lincoln, and he was killed. Do you know anything about? Is there any like theory with Lincoln?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I'm sure they're involved somehow.
I mean, they're always involved. Let me think. There must have been something. I remember hearing something.
You know, he was watching like
Huh?
in a theater.
Yeah,
Like the way he got.
he was watching a play within the theater. We actually know exactly the thing that happened. So what happened is, in the theater, it was like a comedy play, right? And a really funny part was coming up, and it was like a made up word. They were gonna say that word, and then while everyone was laughing, he was gonna shoot him, right? Because everyone's laughing, so you can't hear the gunshot, right? So that's kind of what happened. But I think it could have been something to do with the abolishment of slavery. Maybe our cousins like really liked the money from slavery or.
I mean, who owned the slave ships?
Do you know?
Why was the auction? Why were the auctions closed on Saturdays?
No way!
I mean, like why was it closed on Saturdays?
Were they actually? No. Were they actually? Huh?
Such up, man. Like, what these guys do, bro? They own things. They own assets. we're working for pounds and dollars. These guys are working to own stuff, and that's where the wisdom of zakat comes in. You know, zakat 2.5%. It's on wealth. It's not on income. It's essentially a wealth tax, and it goes to 8 categories of people. And the wisdom behind it being on wealth is so significant now because a lot of economists right now are talking about, we need the wealth tax. These rich people they keep on getting richer. The
Could
poor
you
keep on
explain
getting.
actually about Actually, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna just head off for just 2 minutes. I'll be back in a moment, and then we'll speak more about this. Yeah? 1 second.
Yeah. Guess I'm alone with the chat. By the way, guys, on Piers Morgan the other day, they had hi Helal. Hi, how are you doing? Assalamu alaikum. So the other day on Piers Morgan, they had these YouTubers, I think it was Arab and like two other people that went to Afghanistan, and they just recorded what was going on in Afghanistan, okay? And they showed the realities. They showed that what the news was saying was completely false. Like I read the article on The Guardian.
Yo, what are you saying to my chat, bro?
I'm speaking about the Piers Morgan Afghanistan stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously we saw a lot of articles. I saw one in The Guardian saying women can't speak in public in Afghanistan.
Yeah, actually, someone mentioned that to me, and I'm not sure what the nuances are, because I'm sure it's nuanced.
It's fake. It's completely fake.
Really?
These YouTubers that went to Afghanistan, they're showing people women in the markets. How can you buy things in the market if you can't speak?
Is it? No, I think there was some truth to it, like with you can't go up on a stage as a woman, right?
Was singing. It was about singing and reciting out loud and beautifying your voice. Okay, this is Islamically, it has some grounds to it, but to say they're not allowed to speak in public, this is just stupid. This is not based in reality.
They teach women sign language. Is that real?
Yes. They have to learn how to read the minds of the people.
Oh yeah. With a whiteboard.
With a whiteboard, yeah. They have to write. Yeah, so it's completely crazy how they basically brought them on Piers Morgan for Piers Morgan to give them a lecture and to start shouting at them. You can't tell anybody else what the media is not telling them. So you can't say it.
Like, what did he say? Like, do you know any quotes of like stupid stuff he said?
That's what I'm saying. It sounded like he was saying, he said a lot of weird things. He was just interrupting Arab, the YouTuber. He was just trying to explain that, look, what a lot of things media that they're saying is just not correct. And by the halfway through the sentence, Piers Morgan's interrupting him already. Like, it's crazy.
He does. It sucks. And I was gonna mention another thing, like about propaganda, right?
Yeah.
My stream just had a slight lag spike. Oh, they DDoSing me. Yeah, about America and propaganda. They have a history of it, right? In World War II, World War I maybe, and then Vietnam War, and then like the weapons of mass destruction. It's so prevalent.
I'll mention something interesting.
Go on.
So there's a woman by the name of Gloria Steinem. I don't know if you've heard of her. So we'll disregard the second name and what the second name sounds like.
What's the second name?
Steinem. Gloria Steinem. Okay.
Okay.
So she's a second wave feminist, right? Very interesting.
Second wave. What does that mean?
So feminism, like many ideologies, has like a waves. It transitions, like first wave feminism, second wave feminism, third wave, fourth wave.
How many waves are there?
So people are saying that we're in the 5th wave now, or the 4th wave. This is basically
Can we make a 6th one where it's just like, okay, let's all shut up and make sandwiches, you know?
Nah. So basically, the second wave, Gloria Steinem, the second wave feminist, very like influential, very popular. He's actually a known CIA asset. Okay, since the age of 19, and basically the CIA gave money to this sort of initiative, and this initiative is basically to push the sort of American freedom feminist propaganda to combat the Soviet Union propaganda, because this was during the time of the Cold War, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we have the CIA funding feminists, like this is how deep the propaganda is going.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so of course they have the history of this. The CIA and Mossad, I would say, they're the two biggest terrorist groups in the world. You know, they're not intelligence groups. They're, you know, completely disregarding the law. They're above the law, and the nature of their work is for them to be above the law. That's part of their work. You know, and I can talk about the CIA more as well if you want.
The thing is, right? Like, I've had some video ideas. I've got my video ideas on my Discord server, right? And like, some of my video ideas, people said if you do this, people are gonna say you're sponsored by the Saudi government or something. I'm like, please, you know, I don't mind if they, you know, because it's like I'm gonna make the same content anyway. You know what I mean? But then with feminists, like, it could be something similar that they actually believe in it and they've been brainwashed to believe these things, and it's like, oh, look, I'm getting money for it as well. You know, but yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, how can we join your server? If you down here, patreon.com/YanRYCZ. Yeah. But okay. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about like money. Zakat, right? So I don't know very much about zakat, to be honest. I've never had to pay it. I've never had enough money to, but inshallah, maybe soon I'll be in that position where I do actually have to do it. So, do you know how it works? Like, what kind of money, what kind of wealth? Like, does it can property count? Is it just money in the bank, or and then who are the people who are eligible to receive it?
Yeah. So wealth, it compromises, you know, your assets as well, so your house and things like that, and you're paying 2.5% on that. So it's not only on the cash that you have, on the money that you have, but it's on your assets.
Mm-hmm. So if my assets are worth, I don't know, 200 million, inshallah, someday, I'd have to give away 5 million in either in assets or in money.
Yeah, you have to pay 2.5% of that amount, the nominal value of your wealth.
The thing is, how would I be able to, like, let's say I've got I don't know, 3 houses and I'm skint, bro. I've got no money. Like, what would I do? Like, give a house away, give a room away?
No, it's not like you're not giving away like on the house. It's not like it's just like, so when you say wealth, it's not it's your assets, the value of your assets, and the income and the money. That's what wealth is basically. So it's not about like you have 2.5%
Someone
of
in
the
chat
house.
said there's no zakat on house, so I would have to check the dalil for it. I'm not like about like Islamic education. Like, what's your background? Like, did you study under any shayukh or like?
Yeah, obviously I've been to lectures and things like that in Manchester in Al Furqan Masjid.
Al Furqan. Al Furqan. Al Furqan Masjid. I'm just searching it up. What are they? Are they good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Right, what were we saying? Yeah, so apart from that, what else, bro?
Yeah, so it's given to 8 categories of people, right? It would be like, for example, the masakin, the faqir, fi sabilillah, to the people who collect the taxes, and these sorts of things. These are 8 categories of where it goes to. So this is different to, for example, taxes that we have, in this country and in other countries. It's not like they just take 20% and they spend on wherever they like. This is a religious obligation, and they spend it specifically on those 8 categories. And as I said before, it's the wisdom of having on wealth that makes it different, And as I said, there's a lot of economists now saying that we need wealth taxes to actually stop the rich people becoming extremely rich, because these guys are rich in terms of assets. They're rich in terms of wealth. We, if we get like a really high-paying job, we're gonna have like 100K in a year. That's in terms of pounds, in terms of dollars. But these guys own things. They own large amount of assets and things like that. And that's when they basically start winning. Okay, that's when they basically start becoming richer and richer, and the poor starts becoming poorer and poorer. You tax them on the wealth, say 2.5 of the wealth. That's an insanely large amount of money. These people are like extremely rich, billionaires, multimillionaires. That's pretty much it.
Would you ever like, if you got a lot of money someday, inshallah, would you consider like becoming maybe a property owner and becoming a landlord? If you
Why not?
can't beat them, join them,
Huh?
And just like I said, if you can't beat them, join them. But then of course you could use that money for good, inshallah, and one more person who's actually doing good in the world. Maybe you could make a difference.
Yeah, like a lot of people think like in Islam, you can't be rich. That's not the case. There are many of the companions who were rich. There's the story of the companion who had a massive garden. He had like 1,000 date trees, I believe, and he exchanged that for one date tree in paradise. There's a story of that companion. There, for example, the right-hand man of Khalid ibn al-Walid, he had like 1,000 camels, and he obviously donated it fi sabilillah. So a lot of the companions, they were rich.
Dates grow on trees?
Sorry?
Dates grow on trees? I thought they grew in bushes or something. Actually, I've never thought of where they could grow from. I'm not gonna lie.
You not heard of date trees?
Oh no, I've heard of like date palms. I don't know, it's just not something I ever thought of. I never like look at food and think where does it, like cucumbers, like where does it? No way you could tell me a cucumber tree exists. You know what I mean?
It might. I don't know.
Maybe a bush. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you. Please continue.
All that thing, yeah. So many of the companions, they had wealth. Even the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, the first wife, Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, she had wealth, she had a business.
People say that she was a businesswoman, and then others say no, she actually wasn't. Do you know more about this topic?
She had a business that she inherited.
Oh, okay.
From her husband, I believe, and he passed away, so she inherited the business. But she did, for example, employ people. She employed them to work on her behalf. So to call her a businesswoman, as in like today's sense, I don't think that's correct. She owned the business.
Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna lie, kind of PMO when I see a Muslim woman with fake hijab trying to be like the boss and like making a business. Like, if she's free mixing, of course. Like if she's, I don't know. Astaghfirullah. Maybe I'm wrong. But I wanna just quickly correct you on something actually, if you wouldn't mind. So I'm on Islamic QA, and according to Sheikh Ibn Baz, there is no zakat on houses if you're living in them, right? But with regard to land in general, houses, stores that you own but you don't live in, those you actually have to pay zakat on. So just to clarify with everyone, that's what it is. Now, I'm not sure what would happen if you had like 2 houses you lived in. Fake hijabi, by fake hijabi I mean someone who wears like maybe where just some of their hair is covered, or like some of their neck is showing, etc.
Yeah, that wouldn't be hijab though.
Yeah, that's why I say fake hijab.
Yeah.
I coined that term, I think. I don't think anyone. So That's fake hijab for you guys. But yeah. Average North American Muslim, is that what it is? But yeah, what were we saying, bro? Tell me about Israel Iran. What do you know about that topic?
Okay, so there's a lot of questions on here. What do you actually want to know?
Guys, can we get some questions in chat for the expert? Let's wait for some questions. I'm not gonna lie, this stream it's not performing very well. My last stream with a guest also didn't perform very well. I don't know if it's the Matrix or if it's just, I don't know.
Maybe it's because it's a Thursday.
Could be, possibly actually, and it could be something to do with the time as well. But I have an audience of like relatively global, so maybe I don't. Allahu Alam, bro. If Iran and Israel fought, who would win?
Okay, this is like asking me to give a prediction. I don't really know.
It's impossible to tell.
It's not possible to tell.
Some people might get involved, others wouldn't. You know.
What I would say is, a lot of people were asking why Russia didn't get involved when Israel started like bombing Iran and things like that. And in my opinion, the real answer is
who does Russia support?
Iran.
Okay.
Yeah. So in my opinion, sorry?
I didn't say anything.
Okay, so I thought you said something. The reason why is because they actually didn't really need Russia's support, because Iran basically did it themselves, to be honest. And what happened during the time of when they were attacking one another, Israel launched a lot of missiles towards where the leadership of Iran was. So they basically tried locking them in. They went to this underground place. They started dropping missiles in the entrances and the exits. And
on Iran?
Israel did that to Iran.
Okay.
Right. And so they were locked in, in this bunker or wherever they were. And Israel thought, this is our plan. This is how we've done it. At the same time, they also want the US to join the war as well. So this is their plan. They're trying to get US to, they're trying to drag them into another war, basically, with Iran. Mm-hmm. Last time they did it with Iraq and wherever and so on. So this is the whole aim of Israel. Now, what they didn't know is that Iran was expecting this. They've already prepared for this. The leadership and wherever, they all got out. They started launching missiles of their own. The missiles that actually hit Tel Aviv, actually hit the capital of Israel, and so on. And this meant that Russia didn't need to step in. Because Iran was basically holding up on their own. And as we know, America striked, I believe, some of Iran's nuclear sites. By the way, if you strike a nuclear site, what's going on? Why are there no explosions? Why is there no nuclear catastrophe?
Oh, because the activation of a nuclear bomb, it's from the hydrogen atom or helium, whatever. There's a way to do it, right? You have to launch a specific type of atom onto the uranium-235, and what it does, it splits off into those two other atoms. That's why they call it splitting an atom, right? If you just drop a bomb on it, it's just gonna turn the uranium into a million pieces, but it's not gonna split the atom. You know what I mean?
Good to know. But the point I'm trying to make is that nobody died when they did that. Died? So when they attacked the Iranian nuclear sites, mm-hmm. Nobody died. So, and when Iran attacked US bases in certain...
Kuwait. Was it Kuwait or Qatar?
I think it was Qatar. I'm not completely sure, but again, nobody died. So, if you're looking from a diplomatic standpoint, I believe they probably told each other that, we're going to strike here, just evacuate your people, so we don't look weak. You've attacked us, we don't want to look weak. Let's just...
Well, they just thought, I can't be arsed,
Yeah, let's have a temporary ceasefire, so evacuate your people, I'm just going to strike here. Mm-hmm. This is how it works. You know what I mean?
And like Donald Trump, he tried to do a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, and then they broke it like 2 minutes after. He was like, they don't even know what the flip they're doing. Something like that. Yeah. What? Do
Yeah.
you know more about that?
Yeah, Israel's the one who broke the ceasefire actually, and actually, was it yesterday or was it today? I'm not sure, but I think it was yesterday. They striked Syria as well, Israel.
What did Syria do?
So basically, there's this ethnicity. I think they call the Druze ethnicity, something like that.
Druze.
Uh,
I've
yeah,
heard
I
of
don't know
that
how.
before.
They had control of this territory, and they're backed by Israel. And the Syrian government, the current one, is trying to like crush that rebellion or whatever, trying to take that territory back.
Mhm.
They did that, and of course Israel wasn't happy about that, so they started striking.
Israel wants the Druze to win.
Yeah, so they're backing these.
You know what Druze rhymes with?
Just say it, man.
The cousins. That's what I'll
The-
say.
We said cousins 5 times, 5 on the cousin counter.
I think we're more than 5 actually. I think way more than 5. Yeah.
Yeah, so they attacked Syria's Ministry of Defense building, whatever.
Mhm.
Guys, they don't want stability in the region, you know. Why can't we say Jews? Because you made me say it, man.
See, juice. You know, orange juice, apple juice. It's just it's liquid calories. You know what I mean? It's full of sugar. And the thing is, if we talk about these liquid calories on this live stream, people might you know, the people who own this platform might say, hey, they're promoting hatred against a specific drink. You know, we love this drink. You know, so we have to be kind of careful and use code names.
We are the drink.
Huh?
They are the drink. You know what I mean? So they don't want to. They don't want people speaking bad about the drink.
Exactly. Yeah. Druze are allies of Israel. Yeah, that's that. Presidential palace. Wow. Apparently they attacked the presidential palace.
I'm not sure if it was president. It might have been. I'm not sure, but they attacked the capital basically.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And there's some like, so let's talk about like maybe a bit more of your story, like with how you started content, like how you've been like as a Muslim in general in the past, if you're comfortable with talking about that, and like maybe advice that you would give, you know, stuff that like you're really passionate about. What do you think, bro?
In terms of content, I would say, as I said before at the start, I started during the time of when the Palestine-Israel thing sort of started. So during the time of like October, so after October 7th, all the genocide, the murder, the killing that, you know, the Israeli government has done on
No.
your cameras.
I think my camera died. No
Yeah,
worries,
so
bro.
no,
Continue. I'll just put it on charge.
as I said, they got Jan, man.
They got me, bro.
They got,
Why is there a knock on my door? Let me just get the charger real quick.
what was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, so I started initially speaking about Palestine, and then I sort of hit like a roadblock because obviously you start speaking about Palestine and Israel, and your views, you know, they don't hit like 1K, 2K, whatever. They hit like 0. You know, so then I started speaking about Islam. I was like, okay, if I can't speak about that, let's at least give some benefit, and obviously benefit to myself. Every reminder that I give, of course, is a reminder to myself. And that's basically, you know, the reason why I started the content. It was initially because of Palestine. I realized you can't really start speaking about Palestine like that. Then I switched over to Islamic content. And now that I've gained some following, I can speak about both. So that was the point of me doing that.
Give me a quick moment, bro.
They're trying to assassinate you.
Nah, you know, I just need to let my camera like charge up for a little bit. So what I might do is just replace it with my phone, but
Oh, will you start a YouTube channel?
Huh?
Future. Someone asked if I start a YouTube channel in the future.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
What type of content would you like me to do on YouTube? You
I
know,
mean, bro, you cooked today. Like, you could just talk about like current events, but from like a very logical and like collected perspective. Because that's the kind of content you would do. You know, you're kind of like just very logical and truthful and everything. So you could kind of do that, like a political analysis kind of guy. But then you could also do like Islamic insights and stuff. Because as far as I know, there's no one doing like you know that recently this guy's going big. Is this guy called this Asian guy who's doing like political analysis and like predictions and stuff?
your voice cutting off.
Sorry. So recently there's this guy going viral about like what he thinks will happen with Israel and Iran, etc. Do you know about that?
Talking about the guy with the glasses.
Yeah, the Asian guy.
Yeah. I saw him.
So you could do videos like him, but obviously in a way that's like, obviously you're not just speaking without knowledge and just making things up, because I'm sure not all of, I'm sure a lot of what he said is just assumption, right? So you could do something similar to that, you know?
Yeah, I could. The issue is like, obviously you don't want to, because the way I speak, to censor myself in it. I like to just say what I actually believe, and if I do that, my channel will probably get banned in like 2 days.
No, you'll be fine. If you just like, by the way, my camera should be fine now. If you, it's a very low quality actually. I'm using my phone now. Asian guy with glasses, that narrows it down. Yeah, for real, bro. Oh, man, what was I saying? You could do like an inside joke with your fan base. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, instead of this word, you use that word. You know, and like kind of make it a thing. You know. And then if you make really good content, and like make it entertaining and like just speak the truth, I mean you could do really well, inshallah, you know. And I definitely wouldn't mind like promoting your videos and like talking about them, you know.
Sure.
So you could do that. But what's your story as a Muslim? Have you always been like quite practicing, or is it kind of more recent? Has there been like one specific thing?
That's actually a good question. I would say around 2020, so around COVID times. That's when I really started getting into a bit more, because before that, I was a Muslim, of course, but more so by name. How so your family's a Muslim, you're a Muslim by name, and like, okay, you pray sometimes, this and that, and that's how the situation was. But during the COVID times, during quarantine, I began like watching debates, speakers corner, and like a lot of these debates, Islam versus Christianity, Islam versus atheism, and I started to realize like every single time the Muslim is winning, like every single time, like what's going on here, like
Yeah.
I've this sort of Trinity and things like that, things that don't make sense. If you really dig deep, they don't make sense at all. And atheism and all these other religions, and I came down to a realization, like, what am I doing? Like, if Islam is the truth, and I know Islam is the truth, why am I not following it? Why am I not praying 5 times a day? Why am I not, for example, like, I was of course obeying my parents. I'm just giving examples of why the things that I weren't doing, why am I not doing them? If Islam is, so that's when I came to the realization. It was quarantine time, basically.
Allahumma barik. That's really good. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, champion. And yeah, no, I really good story. Like, so you were kind of like, you were always Muslim, but you weren't always that practicing. I'm sure everyone goes down this pipeline, and then you kind of just realize, why am I not practicing? And then you just start, you know, like you just pray, you know.
Just pray, yeah.
And by the way, for anyone who's wondering what this is, struggling to pray, link in the description. Me and Helal are working with an app which I'm the head of partnerships for. Helal is a great friend of ours and someone who will be, inshallah, promoting this app once it's out. It's basically going to be like a prayer app, right? Not just any prayer app, because it's going to have like prayer tracking, sophisticated prayer tracking, statistics. It's going to have 3 reminders per prayer, which is better than just one, because obviously, if you're on the game and you get 3 reminders, you're so much more likely to just go and pray. Just pray. It's got an AI chat as well, which doesn't give fiqh or Aqidah questions. It stays away from that, and it's just like a prayer coach basically. It's got a bunch of other features that we'll be rolling out soon. So inshallah, guys, if you're interested in improving your prayers, or if you know someone who could benefit from it, please check the link in the description and get a 2-week free trial, inshallah.
And that feature, by the way, of giving multiple reminders for prayers is actually like very beneficial, because we know that we shouldn't delay prayers. We should, as soon as it's prayer time, we should pray. Ideally, of course, there's the sunnah to, for example, delay the Isha prayer, and you have like.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing with Isha actually. I'm not sure what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe ask him.
Yeah, and I remember asking him like, what were you doing with that, and can't remember what he said, but that's definitely something that needs to be like there has to be a specific thing for that. Like maybe there just wouldn't be like maybe you'd get a notification that it's time to pray Isha, but then on the notification it says you can delay this until this time. So Allahu Alam, maybe we'll can you change the amount of reminders to change it to like 7? So what we're doing is 3, but I really like that idea actually, like a custom amount. We're doing 1 before the prayer, which you can customize as a slider, so you can change it from 10 to 1 minute, I believe, before the prayer, or you can turn it off, and then 1 at the time of the prayer, and then 1 after the prayer. So I think that would be like, there's a slider between 10 minutes and 60 minutes, something like that. So it's relatively customizable, but I really do like that idea of more than 3 reminders. So I'll actually message him about that now. More than plus icon with.
But do you know that guy, the new mayor of New York City?
Of New York City?
Yeah,
No idea.
Zohran Mamdani.
What's his name?
Zohran Mamdani. He's a Shia. Like he's a, you know what I mean? 12 is Shia.
12. Oh, we got 12 concurrent views on the stream now, actually.
Whoa. Mossad is trying to get us on. That's crazy.
Will there be reminders for Sunnah prayers like Duha? We aren't adding Sunnah prayers just yet, but we'd like to. Helal isn't Shia. I hope that's not what you're asking. But the new mayor of New York, apparently he is.
The new mayor of New York, yeah.
Yeah.
So
what's up with him then?
He's a secularist, okay, but he uses Muslim, like a brown Muslim socialist. This is what he calls himself.
Socialist.
And by the way,
supposed to support that, right?
Yeah, it makes no sense. How can you say you're a Muslim socialist? Like, it's contradictory. And we can speak about why. For example, in socialism, you can fix prices. One of his policies is to fix rent. In Islam, you cannot fix prices. There's a hadith where one of the companions comes to the Prophet ﷺ and says, the markets, the prices are too high. And the Prophet, this is up to Allah, basically. Allah is the one that fixes the prices. So he stays out of it. He doesn't fix the prices. Obviously, in socialism, you can fix prices, and it's encouraged to fix prices. One of the policies that many socialists, bring in. And there's many other things that contradict, socialism and Islam. So for him to say, I'm a brown Muslim socialist, it seems like he's trying to, get the votes, basically. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, bro, like, why are the most influential Muslims are just not representations of Muslims, Like, even the Dawah people, like, yeah, they're like 90% good, but then there's also, like, things that slip through the cracks, I don't get it.
It's like the mayor of London. Sadiq Khan, he's supposedly a Muslim,
Mhm.
but he's pro LGBT and things like that. And with Zoran Mamdani, like there's videos of him dancing in like LGBT rallies and things like that. And he's, at the same time, he's also representing Islam, supposedly. So, and one thing I'd commend him for, one thing I would give him praise for, is the fact that he is anti-Israel and he's not shy about that. And
Okay,
he was
that's rare, bro. That's rare in politics. How's he even
exactly,
like? How's he even a mayor then? How's he doing anything if he's anti-Israel?
exactly that's the phenomenon sort of behind it, because there's actually a viral clip where you know how they have debates, right? Like presidents and like mayors,
In
the
the
candidate.
Parliament building.
Well, it's like a mayoral debate, so that all the candidates that want to become the mayor of New York City, they have a debate, right? They're all on stage. So the person asking the question asks, where's the first country that you guys would visit? Like the first, foreign country or whatever, as mayor. The first guy says, I'll go to Israel for the fifth time. Second guy says, as mayor, I'll go to Israel for the first time. And they're all saying Israel, 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 Israel. And
Seriously?
yes, the question isn't even about Israel. It's about what foreign country would you go to? All of them are speaking about how many times I've been to Israel and how hard I can like suck up to Benjamin Netanyahu. That's all they're doing. But Mamdani, he said, I wouldn't go to Israel. I just stay here in New York because I'm the mayor of New York. That was a viral like clip, and I would give him praise for that.
I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, give credit where credit is due. You know,
Credit.
bro, like, how is that not obvious that they're just like trying to impress Israel as much as possible, you know? It's like high school girls or something, you know? It's so weird.
Crazy, man. Talk show, and the talk show host asked him about Israel. Like, is he trying to become the mayor of Tel Aviv, or is he trying to become the mayor of New York? Like, what's going on here? Why are you talking about Israel? Yeah. So that's the thing. So on one side, he's doing something good, which we can praise him for,
Mhm.
but he's also supposedly a Muslim, but he's at LGBT rallies. He supports these sort of things. He's a socialist. So
Mhm.
this is where the question sort of comes in, like, what do we even do with someone like that? You know what I mean? At that point, like, just don't just don't represent Muslims if you're gonna represent it like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
With
you
that,
know, he's a Shia, and so it's probably again very carefully chosen by the cousins. Like, let's put a Muslim in power, but let's make sure he's not actually a real Muslim. You know, that's why you've never seen like when have you ever seen a Salafi in power? You know, like recently.
you can't. It's not
Yeah,
possible. You have to concede certain things in your religion to get these sort of positions of power. That's
yeah,
pretty
it's
much what it is.
crazy. Subhanallah, bro. It's all controlled. You know, it's just like we're just like puppets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Subhanallah. But but yeah, bro. Man, I'm sure there was other things we wanted to talk about. Like
Let me.
like what have you learned? What's some interesting stuff you've learned in like finance and economics?
What sort of interesting things like this? Like
Like
the ones.
money tips. You know, halal stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to be related to Islam. Just like what kind of things would you like to talk about? I guess because I am curious about like Islamic finance and that kind of economic stuff because I don't know much about it.
Yeah, so with economics, the type of economics that you're going to learn in the West is very much just one thing, like pro-capitalist,
Mm.
interest rates, and things like that. Every single economic model that you learn involves interest. Every single topic involves interest. That's the most interesting thing, because
Interest, interesting.
that's the most interesting thing because I didn't know really about all of these things. I didn't know about um, the bond markets and like this and that. and how the central bank, can just print money however much they want. This stuff was really interesting because it shows how deeply ingrained interest is in the Western economy, in the world economy. And it brought a thought to my mind, like, how would the economy how would it work without interest? How would it function without interest? Because of what I've been taught is that interest is part of the economy.
I mean, it
This,
could definitely work. It has. I'm sure it has worked.
of course it will work, because
Yeah.
it forbids interest, so of course it will work. But it's just a matter of everybody's been taught about this, like interest and this and that. So you sort of get the idea that the economy won't even function without interest. And yeah, that's pretty much the thing.
Yeah, sorry, bro. I was just replying in chat. Someone said, Sunnis rarely go against Islam. And then I said, Hamza Yusuf. Even Asharis don't like him? Yeah, possibly. Maybe it is an extreme example, you know. But
By the way, do you invest?
me? Not got anything to invest, bro. My money comes and goes. For now, like, I'm just living off what my mum and dad give me. You know, I've only been paid like a little bit from Just Pray. But inshallah, eventually, if Just Pray does really well, I'll hopefully get paid, inshallah, fairly, hopefully handsomely. We'll see.
Allah.
Inshallah. Is Omar Suleiman bad? I love that guy. Unfortunately, he's got some weird beliefs. He went to a gay rally, which is very sus. I mean, he did seem like he didn't enjoy being there, but even the fact that he chose to go is very suspicious. He's got some Aqidah problems, and the things he teaches in Yaqeen Institute are just no good. It's just someone you kind of want to avoid. Like he, maybe even if you did explain it, you're better off going to someone who's not had such controversy and who's like more widely kind of liked, if you know what I mean. And like, no, Omar Suleiman, he is widely liked, but from like the scholarly people who actually look into things, you see a different opinion of him. What do you think of Omar Suleiman?
Apologize.
Did
he apologize for that and explain it?
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if he did apologize.
He did.
He may have, and if he did, then that's good, alhamdulillah. But there are other things.
Yeah. I didn't. Everyone has. At the end of the day, everyone has mistakes and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's brought a lot of benefit to a lot of people.
That's definitely true. That's definitely true. He's brought a lot of benefit. And the same with like Numan Ali Khan. When I first reverted, he was like his speeches were quite beneficial to me. I got them on my feed when I followed #Allahu Akbar. Did I tell you about my reversion story?
No, actually.
Right. So it's just kind of crazy, right? So I used to look at like Arab funny memes. Arab funny, like bombs and all that stuff, terrorism. So I followed #Allahu Akbar on Instagram. I got a bunch of Islamic posts instead of memes. So I just never unfollowed it for some reason, and that's where I got like a bunch of Dawah posts and like Numan Ali Khan, etc. But yeah, so I like Numan Ali Khan for that, and I can praise him for that. But then with other things like denying evil eye or saying music is halal, that kind of stuff, we should be like kind of careful with who we take from. Like take the good, like say, okay, this is good, but because this is bad, we can't fully trust him. What about MBS? Can we criticize him? The thing is that he's a Muslim ruler, and even if there are some things that he has done, he's not committed kufr, as far as I know. And the Prophet ﷺ said in several hadiths that you shouldn't criticize the ruler. And like, we can all admit that maybe there have been some things But if it's not kufr, then we just gotta kind of live with it. You know what I mean? What's your whole opinion on this thing?
On what? Criticizing Muhammad and so on. As you know, interesting thing, I asked a scholar actually about that.
Really,
A sheikh,
scholar?
Al Furqan. So
Okay.
I asked him about it. I can't remember the specific thing I asked. It was like, are we allowed to? Yeah, I said, are we allowed to criticize the rulers, basically? And he said, if in public they make the mistake in public, then you can criticize them in public. That's what he said. And he said, if it's in private, then you should advise them in private. And he said, like,
Okay.
if they're going in public and they make it completely like something completely incorrect in public, that people can criticize them in public. So the scholars, technically, they should advise the rulers in private if they can. You know, if the person is doing like a complete mistake, something completely against Islam in public, then you can criticize them in public. But the point is not to rebel, because once it starts becoming rebellion and taking up arms, then it starts becoming like khuruj at that
But
point.
the thing is that so I'm not very educated on the whole like permissibility of it. I'm not sure, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of dalil we could look into. But the thing is, if you allow criticism, right, in public, then couldn't that eventually, like, obviously it's like the consequence of that could be very easily an uprising. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right in a sense, but there's a difference between correcting a mistake and advising and saying, you know, we need to start rebellion and overthrow somebody. That's two different things.
Yeah, but what I mean is that if the public is allowed to collectively say, we disagree with this and this is what he did, it's fitna. Could you agree with that? That it could definitely lead to a small group of bad apples saying, hey, this guy's not good. How about we just take over? And then they say, hey, let's do this, and then people join them, and then you've got two different groups, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could, but
just from like a pragmatic, like consequential perspective, and the dalil for it, I don't know, you know.
I understand what you're saying, but you know, technically, if they can't give the advice in private, they should. Like the scholar, they just advise the ruler in private, whether he agrees with it or not. It's up to the ruler.
Oh yeah, advising in private, definitely. That's definitely something you should do. Someone said, why don't you guys go live on TikTok? How come you chose YouTube? You know, it's probably actually the better thing to do. And what I want to start doing eventually is doing live streams cross-platform. But the thing is, I need a software. I need a paid software for that. But I definitely want to stream on like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok simultaneously. You know, I think that'd be much better, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe next time on TikTok.
Yeah, inshallah. I definitely want to like re-invite people every now and then if I ever run out of people to speak with, which hopefully I won't. I think I have like 20, maybe 20 friends who would be willing. Various sizes, like in terms of like following. So I don't know. How did you two meet? How did we meet, bro?
On Instagram.
Yeah. I think I just kind of DM'd you, and then we just kind of vibed. Let me scroll up. Yeah, I just said loving your content, and then you said you've seen some of my videos on YouTube. And then I gave you a video idea, and then we kind of spoke. And then I actually gave you the Just Pray offer, which that wasn't the reason why I initially messaged you, by the way. But that's something that we did. Upload the Aisha video already? Farhan, why are you stealing all my ideas, bro? Come on.
Nah, what's that one?
Bro, Farhan, Allah Mubarak, he makes great content, and I have nothing against him actually using my ideas, but I think one or two videos that I've made, he like used the idea and made his own, which is fine, you know. I don't mind. I don't mind. It's just like an inside joke we have. Like whenever he makes like a video that's similar to one of mine, I just say, "Bro copied me," you know. I'll copy you someday. I've had this Aisha vid planned before you were Muslim. Well, I did it first, so. He was supposed to upload the Aisha video in June, but he never got around to it. Oh, okay, I see. Farhan might be coming on someday. Farhan, do you want to join the stream someday, inshallah? W copy. Nah, bro, I'll just copy your, let's see.
Oh yeah, by the way, like, I want to speak more that Afghanistan thing because that really like,
What's the Afghanistan thing?
you know, the pays more and stuff.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, as I said, you know, the thing on WikiLeaks, the CIA report, that basically the CIAs, they've been using feminism for a very long time. But in Afghanistan specifically, there's a report on WikiLeaks that the CIA used feminism to justify staying in Afghanistan for an extra 10 years. Because remember, the initial, you know, justification for going into Afghanistan was, you know, I don't know if you can say his name.
We should make a code name.
Obama.
Obama,
Obama's
Salman.
Huh?
No, bin laundry.
Bin laundry.
What sounds similar to? Codename Skibbity? Nah, bro. You guys are too brain rotted. Come on, guys.
What can we call him? Okay, we know who we're talking about, right?
We could just call him Obama the Lemon. Or something, I don't know.
Obama bin laundry, that's the...
Obama bin laundry, okay.
Obama bin... That was the reason why they invaded Afghanistan, right? Because the Talibros wouldn't hand over...
The Talibros?
They would bin laundry to the Americans, right? So that's why they... So after they killed bin laundry, why did they stay in Afghanistan for an extra 10 years? They needed a justification for it.
Wasn't he in Pakistan?
Was.
So why did they even step foot in Afghanistan, bro?
Exactly. So as I said, I was speaking about what's his name? Julian Assange, right? Julian Assange mentioned that basically they use Afghanistan to wash money out of US tax bases. It's because of money. And
what do you
also
mean to wash money? Like they pretended to make money from, or what?
No, it's like they're funneling the money to the defense contractors and the military, like industrial, like complex and things like that. And the money's going to these companies basically, and they're making profits. They pay to the US government. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And also the opium. Afghanistan at one point in time was producing, I believe, 90% of the world's opium.
Mm-hmm. That's where heroin and fent and stuff comes from.
He was profiting from all that market because obviously America was in control of Afghanistan at that time. They invaded, took over everything.
Mm-hmm.
America was in control of the.
Or it's like how ages ago they, man, what was I saying? What were we talking about? Ages ago, like in the 80s, they would fuel cocaine and like crack in black neighborhoods, right? Is it something similar to that?
I don't know if it's similar to that because they would sell the opium just to make profit. But you're right about that. Sorry, my phone's running out of charge. But you're right about that. They would like funnel into like black neighborhoods and also weapons and things like that into black neighborhoods as well. That's a CIA sort of thing. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, they needed justification to stay in Afghanistan for an extra 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in the CIA report, it says we would use feminism as that justification. And it literally says in one of the reports that if we talk about the advent of all of the progress that we've made in terms of like women's empowerment, and we say that once the Talibros come in, all of that will be lost. The French and the French people will start to see this as a justification for us to stay in Afghanistan. So they have all sorts of things like this in the CIA report, speaking about how we can use this to stay in Afghanistan. And these are the sorts of things that the CIA does and Mossad does and these intelligence agencies do. And I have other things to speak about, like feminism and women's rights are not the same. Yeah, exactly. Feminism and women's rights are not the same. Because technically, Islam promotes women's rights. Islam gives rights to women. But feminism is something else.
It's just like giving them, letting them do exactly what they want. And
it
like making them think they want things that they don't actually want. It's like making them think that they're... It's like normalizing degenerate desires, you know? Like, so usually it'd be like a smaller group of women who are this kind of way. But then they find a way to kind of like normalize it such that people become like that, you know? And they have such a grip on psychology and they understand psychology so well that they probably do that very well. And that's why you probably see a higher proportion of women nowadays who have these like really degenerate personality traits, if you know what I mean. You know, like just weird
I would say
stuff.
that's mostly due to like social media, to be honest. Even men and women, both of them, they'll see something on social media, like an influencer with a certain behavior, like behavioral trait and whatever, and they'll just believe that to be true because of the amount of likes, like things like that.
Yeah, it's weird, but I think social media's... I don't think social media and the consequences of it are just the consequence of something that is social media existing, you know. I think they do filter it. I think they do implant things, you know. Like have you seen The Boys?
Boys, no. Is it
The Boys?
Show?
It's a show with superheroes and stuff.
Oh.
Guys, just pray. Someone said in chat. Don't forget to just pray, guys. But yeah, so it doesn't matter what it is, but in there, they kind of like simulate politics and like how people change PR, and what they do is they make meme accounts, which follow one political ideology or the other. And I think that's what they do probably. Like I'm sure at least a couple of meme accounts out there are actually like paid by this group or that group, you know.
Yeah, probably.
Could definitely be a thing, and they could also be doing something like pumping the algorithm, you know, or suppressing people. You know what I mean? Like if someone says things that they really like, they just give him a bunch of impressions, and then boom, he's successful, you know.
I think this is what they do in Muslim feeds, bro. Like they just push all of this like gender wars, things like that on like Muslim feeds, just to like push men all the way this way and push women all the way to the.
And the thing is, it's just kind of like the design of it, you know. I think the design of the social media platforms and the internet is designed to split everyone, you know, because obviously splits. The more split everyone is, the more different little subgroups there are, the easier it is to control everyone, right? Because everyone's just like, man, I can't be asked to have a government. I'll just let the guys do it, you know. So, what obviously, the more engagement you have, the more views you get, right? Obviously, likes also play into it. So that's why they have SEO, right? So what they do, they push the content. Obviously, if you're inflammatory, like let's say Andrew Tate kind of stuff, or like just people who like really rage bait and just say like extreme stuff, right? So the SEO, meaning like the keywords and the hashtags and stuff, it makes it pushed out to those people, right? But then they also push it out to the opposite, right? The people who are completely against you, you know. I don't think it's by chance, right? And that obviously induces people to comment, you know, hey, I disagree with you, blah blah blah, you're this, you're that, and then you have comment wars, etc. And that's why things go viral, you know, because it appeals really well to one group of people, but then obviously you've got another group of people who really hate it, and then they leave all the comments, you know. So that's just the design, you know, and I think this happens a lot in Muslim spaces, you know. You've got like a moderate type of people who are like just Atharis who know, okay, it's okay, you know, we can be reasonable with people, but obviously we shouldn't go too far into like deviance and taking from deviance, of course. And if someone does a few mistakes, they're fine. Then you got like the spubs people. You know about spubs, right?
Yeah.
Who like tabdi everyone, right? And then the other side where it's just like whatever, you know. But the internet pushes out these people, and it makes these people think that, you know, liberals think that all moderate people are this, right? And then these people think that all moderate people are this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And you know, technically, like Muslims, if we look at our social values, like we would be conservative. We have conservative social values, like on LGBT, on gender issues, on things like that. We're conservative. And even economically, obviously we have our own economic system. It's not completely capitalist, it's not completely communist or socialist, but we have like a free market, but we also have distribution as well, like wealth distribution
NHS.
with zakat. Yeah. So, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so when we have, like, for example, people like Zoran Mamdani and things like that, saying that we're Muslim and socialist and, you know, all of these things at the same time, I'm pro-Palestine, it creates actually confusion. And I'll say something that might, you know, like ruffle some feathers, but I would rather have somebody who holds the exact same position on Palestine as Zoran Mamdani, but him not be a Muslim. Why? Because when you have this Muslim, socialist and liberal and secular, people start getting confused. Muslims, youth, they start getting confused.
The thing is debatable if he's even a Muslim, Allahu Alam, you know. But I mean, if he's someone who prioritizes the laws of non-Muslim countries.
That's the issue. Like he says he represents.
Yeah, and I know you're going to like if someone says they're Muslim but then they misrepresent Islam, they're actually doing more damage than someone who just isn't a Muslim, but they do good for like Palestine and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like he might end up doing more bad than good actually, because he like at the presidential level, JFK couldn't do anything about Israel. So if we're thinking about the mayor of New York City, you know, can he really deliver on Palestine? I don't think he can. But what he will do is he may confuse a lot of Muslim youth. He may start leading a lot of Muslim youth to become socialist and like have these secular ideas, pro-LGBT and things like that. So that's what I think.
Okay, cool. Oh wow, we've been streaming for nearly 2 hours, bro.
The
ultimate Yapatrons, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you kind of we're kind of thinking of speaking about, or do you want to like kind of wrap it up?
I think we should probably wrap it up.
Someone just said they're back. Hi, back. Well, we're going now. But okay. Yeah, thank you for the stream, bro. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking your knowledge. I've not really had anyone who like knew so much about like politics, Islamic finance, and all of this stuff. So
no problem, man.
Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward. Maybe we'll do another live stream sometime in the future, when it's a bit more professional and you've got some more gear and I've got some. I've not got a camera that dies, you know. And yeah, so guys, don't forget to just pray, okay? Just pray. Anyway, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.